Yeah! Damn!
Tuesday night for Rob Riggle's birthday started off fantastically after a great lunch at Olive Garden, a banger kick-ass night in Sandy Ridge, and, he got reservedly rewarded the Defensive Player of the Year, the youngest and most anonymous winner in NBA history, and little did we know that it would all come apart sometime, later, and that we'll get to that in a little bit, but right now, let's go over this in chronological order, one thing at a time. The Spurs way, dating back to the Tim Duncan days, this, 2026, 526 team, and year three Wemby is basically the same way now that the rebuild's over. We start off these games really, really slow, and then we turn on the gents and start pouring it on like Kerry Wampler and get within striking distance of the other team, no matter if we're at home at the SBC Center or literally on the road at other arenas. And now, at this case right now, it's literally just, at Rose Garden. So we eventually got within striking distance towards the end of the first quarter. And then right here, I think, Wembenyama went to work. Did he pass it? No. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Because he only scored 5 points in this game. And you'll find out why in a little bit here. Right here is when we started, basically, getting in this game. Okay, now Carter right here gives us, I think, was the first lead of the game. Now, here's where it got ugly and scared the shit out of me.
Walk-in three here.
Wemby thought about walking into one as well. Moving on, Holiday, try to pull the chair, get out of the way. Wembenyama to the deck. Foul on Holiday.
And I think he did pull the chair, too. It looked like Wemby might have been a little bit out of control there.
Will Sevening and the athletic training staff out to take a look at Wembenyama, who, as he hit the deck, went face first down there, and he's
running back.
Yeah, I was kind of fearing the worst right there based on the fact that he didn't get up right away, at least with the whole 76ers ordeal with the rib, which Paul George didn't do anything wrong. It was an accident. Shit happens, except that one we got a little bit luckier than this one, which we did too. And you'll find out why later in this video, but it was obvious that there was no way in hell he was going to come back from the game. If you listen closely to the audio that was picked up from him, grimacing in that kind of pain he was in, he knew before, anybody else did that he was not going to come back the rest of the game. And, personally, can you blame me for being scared and panicking, considering, I know a lot of you fellow Spurs fans on TikTok, got on my case saying it's okay. I mean, but I hope you understand why I reacted that way, because we had such a great regular season, and I did not want it to get flushed right down the toilet like it did in 2017, the first year without Duncan, which was close to the end of the Live in La Vida Labrat era in my history during what was then the OG Sandy Ridge era of the happiest place in Northeast Ohio. So I remember being like, I hope it's just because he could concussion protocols doesn't mean he actually has a concussion, because some players have been like that in the past. Well, every player is different because every individual human person's human body operates differently. He did have a concussion, obviously. Yeah, I know it sucks, but I mean, at least he got Defensive Player of the Year, in which we all knew he was getting it because, should have had it last year despite not going to the playoffs in his second year. But, the only reason why he didn't get it was because Bloodclot had the other plans, which was the only reason why Mickey Mouse Mobley fluked into that, fake-ass Defensive Player of the Year, which is why a year later it serves that Mickey Mouse bozo fucking right, which is why he didn't get a single vote, which is, it's fitting because of the team he plays for. The Mickey Cavaliers, known for that fraudulent fake-ass 2016 Mickey Mouse Championship that the most diluted fan base in all of American sports, let alone the NBA alone, can take with them and shove where the sun don't shine, baby. Not to mention, Big Body got Sixth Man of the Year, which was pretty obvious, that was a no-brainer too, except that was not anonymous. He won that with ease due to his contributions before playing all 82 games without coming off the bench, without sitting out a single game. Impressive. But as Zachary S. Williams once taught us, as Zane Markinson on Nickelodeon's I Am Frankie back in the day, aka the pre-pandemic era, the show must go on. And that it did, considering we did pretty well, without Wembenyama the rest of the way. The Spurs played like an actual team, like he was still there, except, he wasn't, obviously, because we did not have that defensive impact, that, he's usually pretty good at showcasing, proving why he was the unanimous pick for Defensive Player of the Year with how well he can block shots, without, really jumping. And because of, 99.9% of every shot in the NBA that you normally throw up over him, you get it in the basket. But because of how tall he is and his long ass wingspan, there's no way in hell that you're going to get a shot like that with him, standing in front of you, guarding you, and trying to go for the block and take that gamble, which will work and pay off for him 99.9 to at least 100% of the time. That 1% that you don't get is with mainly because of him. But the Spurs, kept playing like a real team here, him, going out with that concussion never happened. So therefore, the second quarter, it continued to be neck and neck, and the Spurs continued to play themselves, with or without them.
Later that same evening.
That's exactly what continued in the third quarter as well. I mean, we still played like a team, even with him not being present. So therefore, because that's exactly what he would want, until, the fat lady sings and we run out of gas. Yeah, spoiler alert. You'll see that later in the video. I mean, hell, we even took control for half the third quarter. It seemed like, obviously the Blazers remained in striking distance.
And how about champions like Holiday?
Cornet at the rim.
No, sorry.
Yeah, an unfortunate White Castle failed attempt, but I digress, even though we mostly had that shit under control. The remainder of that second quarter, along with the whole third quarter, was either us in control with a semi-huge lead or literally us being neck and neck with the Blazers, trading the lead back and forth, considering, we could not get away, while at the same time, they could not get over the hump either. So, therefore, I mean, we kept our foot on the gas for the most part, despite all that, considering, we played like a real team, that, didn't really have, basically, like he was still on the floor, but at the same time, even though we know he wasn't, I mean, we found other ways to have, impact, as in, next man up, just like we always do when, a good one of our best players goes down, whether it be Wemby, Fox, Castle, Harper. But the fourth quarter here, yeah, this is what gave us, at least it gave me false hope. So I'm going to let the video do the talking.
And near turnover here, Holiday lost it. Vassell's got it. Avdia challenged. Fox fouled and won. And a Portland timeout. Castle trying to keep the run going. Working with Cornet on Avdia. Got inside for two. He got
advantages.
Fox got right through to Cornet for the reverse dunk. And a foul played 4-on-5.
The dream ended, and reality set in.
Henderson on Champagne, sees Cornet. Williams for three in the lead. Nothing. Holiday follows. The Blazers lead. Spurs have a chance to get two with not much coming off the clock. They do. Castle to trigger. And Vassell for the Spurs. To Vassell for the tie. Out the rim, no. It's deflected. Final seconds. The Blazers will win.
Yeah, a 14-point collapse, unfortunately. I mean, we've been doing a great job cleaning that shit up, considering, we haven't had a third quarter blues in forever. So let's not go back to bad habits that, where we were trying to figure out towards the beginning of the season, because if we do, this is going to come back and bite us in the ass when it matters most. And we do not fucking want that after we had an incredible regular season. But if I was young Devo, and then when he shot those free throws, I would have, tried to actually legit make the first, but then out of spite, intentionally missed the second, hoping for an offensive rebound to try to go for three for the win. But hey, that's just me, I guess. We started that quarter on a tear. It was basically, we went on the run and really could not be stopped on the offensive end. It looked like we were ready to put this shit away, considering, we had as big of as a 14-point lead. And then Harrison Barnes, banged up his wrist, but there was later confirmed it was more of a shoulder than it was, his wrist that had more of damage, even though it looked like a wrist when it happened in real time, considering he had to leave the game. And basically the game was almost coming to an end. nothing. So there was no point in coming back in, even if he was really okay. And then Harper, it scared me more since he's one of my homeboys. Literally hurt his hand, considering he was already dealing with a bad thumb. But at least he stayed in the game. But it was confirmed that those injuries are all for show and all nothing. So they were good to go for Game 3. And good news, Wemby's concussion actually didn't worsen, which which is why him being able to travel to Portland for games 3 and 4 kind of gave that away, because really we would have known if it had worsened, which thankfully it didn't. If considering he would not have traveled with the team and would have stayed home in San Antonio, considering now he was literally, it looked like he was going to play Friday night. It looked like when he was walking around the practice facility and shooting around with the team in practice, and congratulating Keldon, pitching the idea of having the team come together to congratulate him on a 6th man of the year. It looked like the concussion did not exist.
3 days later.
Because of those positive reports in regards to his concussion, they listed him as questionable for the Friday game, considering, J-Mac is still dealing with that ankle injury that happened in the regular season finale against the Nuggets. And, he was, healthy enough. I wouldn't say healthy enough. That's not the right term, a poor choice of words. He was feeling well enough, shoot around with the team, before, basically when there was nobody there, nobody as in fans there. But then Mitch Johnson made the wise decision to shut him down for the night, basically, not to rush him back to risk him getting further injured, better safe than sorry. So he's making, he's going in the right direction in terms of getting nursed back to health and, back to his 100% self. So we don't want that to go the wrong direction, risking him coming, letting him play, return too soon, and then have another Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, situation, if you know what I mean. So better safe than sorry, and it ended up paying off in the end. Imagine that, and here's how. I unfortunately wasn't paying too much attention to the game for the majority of the first quarter, because I was trying to get my postings up on social media, so I can't really talk about what happened there. But the second quarter, we really, kept in striking distance, and then it looked like for a moment we basically, take early control of this game, because we got up to a semi-huge lead of our own, as you see right here. Wembenyama was enjoying it. After Portland called that timeout to, gather it back up, we kept the momentum going. Right here, I thought we had lost control of the game. That's what it looked like, considering, even though we benefited from, Fox elbowing Denny, basically, I hate that we had a benefit that way, considering that should have been an offensive foul, but I'll take what I can get, even though I don't like earning it that way, considering, Fox got denied here. I guess I would say karma in the point of view of a Portland fan.
Later that night.
Portland looked like it was going to cruise to a 2-1 lead themselves, considering, we still had lost control of the game at the moment, but then San Antonio finds a way to, prove me wrong and make sure to get my hopes back up from being down. So, and look at this, the man of the hour right here, Dylan fucking Harper, considering, right here, oh yeah, look at him. Look at this man. Oh, there's going to be a whole segment about his, legacy game right here. KJ gets us within 4 right here. Now here comes the good part, where this motherfucker, as a rookie in the playoffs, making his playoff debut in his first NBA season, being a rookie in the playoffs, fucking tearing that shit up like Texas Terry Labonte and Rock and Roll Jeopardy. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen. Go Dylan, go. Go Spurs, go. Roll it.
Henderson careens into the defensive Harper and catches a goal.
You mess with the cow, you get the udders.
On the wing, a Harper 3. Good! What a shot! Harper.
Oh, he's going.
Into Holiday. Look at him dive and score! Back. Keldon Johnson gobbles it up. 3. Harper. Good! Against Henderson, he'll drive. And slam it down!
It was definitely the Dylan Harper Legacy Game as we came back from down 15 to beat the Blazers at the Rose Garden and take a 2-1 lead heading into Game 4 on Sunday, which is technically later on today. As you know, no Wemby, no problem. Dylan Harper tore that shit up like Terry Labonte. And, Stephon Castle, the sophomore, gave him some help, And Carter Bryant kind of made a quiet statement of his own, that went under the wing. But since I'm a huge fan of his, one of my current favorite players, I was the one that gave him his flowers. I know he's not going to get much attention because the spotlight was on Dylan Harper, like 75%, and 25% of it was on Steph Castle. How close can you get it? I mean, the Blazers basically lost control of the game in the fourth quarter.
Dylan Harper took that personal.
22 points in the second half. Incredible.
That's it. San Antonio was down by 15, and they stormed back with incredible individual performances. Castle with 33. Harper, the rookie, off the bench with 27.
As it was all San Antonio from there on out. I mean, Harper tore that shit up like Terry Labonte. JoJo Lacey is a lucky bitch. And in return, D Hart, my homeboy, is a lucky motherfucker. I know I made a damn good choice picking this dude as one of my current favorite players. I mean, obviously he wasn't going to get Rookie of the Year, which sadly he didn't because he's not the number one option on this team. He would have to be on a bad team as the number one option in order to get it, like Wemby was, 3 seasons ago. But he's the Rookie of the Year in my book, especially if we win our 6th championship and he and Carter win their first ring in their first season. So hopefully one day, as Carter Bryant continues to grow as a sophomore and beyond, I really hope that he gets his time to shine, to have, these career best moments like this as his career continues on in the Alamo City. No Wembenyama, no J-Mac, no problem. My homeboy Dylan Harper, along with Stephon Castle, as well as De'Aaron Fox, and secretly, my other homeboy Carter Bryant, took care of business last night, technically 2 nights ago. I will see you all in a few hours for the Aaron's 499 at Talladega in conjunction with Game 4 of this, first round matchup between my San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trail Blazers at the Rose Garden in Portland, Oregon. Have a good night tonight and a better day tomorrow. Take care, everyone. Good night. I will see you all for the next video, which will be Spurs, Blazers Game 4 recap in conjunction with the Aaron's 499 at Talladega, and then the first Sandy Ridge video of Season 5 of Spring Production, which will be on Monday. Neighborhood fun. Tear it up like Terry Labonte. See you later, everyone. And as always, go Spurs, go. Let's go ballin' and racing, boys. And to the beautiful Leah Torres, it was an honor finally getting to talk to you and your mother, Ari Caban Casillas, on Thursday, the day before Game 3, for your Matt Kenseth in terms of NASCAR, or in terms of Spurs, Barrio Ellie, Brent Berry, Jonathan Simmons' 17th birthday. And I'm not counting Ducky McBricks because that was during the rebuild years. I mean, I hope you told Rafael that you got to talk to one of his longtime fans that I only became friends with because of you dating him. So therefore, I hope that we're able to FaceTime next. Me, you, your mother, and if I'm lucky, maybe Rafael will be there. So therefore, I just wanted to throw in this bonus clip just to thank you for being so sweet and thank your mom for being such a sweetheart too. So therefore, time to get off and get ready for the race in the game together tomorrow at the same time for the 3rd NASCAR San Antonio doubleheader in a row and 4th one overall this year. Go Spurs!